God's big plan for me for right now started really back with our Spread Some Smiles in July when we went out and fed the homeless. And so what God has affirmed for me is that his big plan for me right now is to be more aware of the marginalized, the poor, and particularly the homeless around us.
God's big plan for my life is to develop relationships within my neighborhood. When everything shut down in March due to COVID, I wasn't able to go to the places I usually go to spend my time, so I just started walking the neighborhood to get out of my house. Going past the same houses day after day has meant I met neighbors who before I didn't even know their name. And now we're at a point where we're deepening these conversations, so I'm able to share my relationship with Christ, share my faith, and even invite them to church.
I think God's plans for me the last few years has been to move out of my house in my neighborhood and go to a new neighborhood, which is an apartment complex that is now full with 320 residents. And so there's a lot of people there that my wife and I would like to meet and get to know and just see how God can use us, and praying for other believers and praying for new believers.
The Lord has led me skillfully and lovingly for my entire life, and he has given me experiences beyond my imagination, so much bigger and better than I could have ever planned. And as I enter into this new season, I'm expectant and trusting in the Lord for great things.
You know, COVID has really disrupted all of our lives as families, mine included. So one of the big plans that God has for me right now relates to being a slightly different role as a father and a husband during this season. So with my oldest son, who's taking a gap year off of college this year, part of my big plan for him is to be an encourager and to take this extra time to just build into the relationship with him. And with my wife, she's decided to homeschool our kids this year. And so part of my big plan with her is to be an encourager and a supporter to her as she's on this new adventure.
It would be the word adaptability. God has been growing me and showing me that the choice that I make in being adaptable is joy. And through the COVID season, through my kids' school situations and the unknowns, to give God the glory through the way that I adapt in the words that I say and the actions I do is something that he is growing and stretching me in today.
Yeah, I'm really excited about what I feel God's big plan is for me right now. That as I'm growing in my responsibility in different areas of ministry, that I feel like I'm learning and listening and gathering wisdom a lot during this season as I learn these new responsibilities.
So what the Lord has been teaching me about his purposes and plans for my life are really just things that I've already known, but yet he's renewing those things in me. One thing for sure is his will be done and his kingdom come. Those are things that I've been looking at and focusing on, not only in my own life, but for our nation and how I pray for our nation, that his will is done and his kingdom is coming. The second thing that I've been renewed about is how I love my neighbor and how much we need each other in this time. And so each day I ask the Lord, who is it that I'm supposed to talk to today or encounter? And really focus on that day by day.
That's my big plan.
That's my big plan.
That's my big plan.
So that's God's big plan for my life. What's yours?
What's yours?
What's yours?
What's yours?